9,000 kilometers by air, 11,000 meters above the ground. That's the distance a resident of Northern Europe has to travel to land in a beautiful land of wildlife and nature. Sit back and enjoy a trip to Namibia with Eurohunters program. Since the beginning of the trip, we've been accompanied by our friend Jacek. We traveled together. When we finally managed to find our plane, we had to stand in a check-in line, one of many queues on that day. There it is, we're good to go. With a grin and full of positive energy, we board the first plane. The flight from Berlin to Frankfurt takes less than an hour, so after a while we were walking firmly on the ground, admiring one of the largest airports in Europe. If we get lost, that will be a huge problem. 3 large terminals are separated by such large distances, we decided not to go on foot. That's why on our means of transport list we put a remote-controlled electric train called Skyline. After a few minutes, we met the rest of our Polish team, which arrived in Frankfurt from various parts of Poland. It wasn't easy, but we succeeded in the end, which can't be said about the security check, where Przemek had to walk barefoot. Of course, everything was okay, except for our cameraman.
Nicht? Okay.
Fortunately, on board no one had a problem with the TV crew and we could safely continue. The work is not easy, as squeezing your way through narrow corridors of Airbus with a camera and a backpack is simply not a piece of cake.
Pass the strap around your waist and fasten the clips at the front.
A nice female voice instructed us what to do in case of no, what emergency. Nobody here is afraid of flying. Przemek's learning what a lion looks like and when you need to begin to flee once you catch a glimpse of it. A lion didn't impress him much because, but for Mr. Cameraman, he would have overslept and flown to South Africa. Fortunately, we all leave the plane to experience a small shock. A thermal shock, to be precise. That's why we were delighted to welcome a slightly warmer interiors of a local terminal.
A więc jesteśmy w Namibii, wylądowaliśmy naszą wesołą grupą.
So here we are in Namibia. After many transit flights, we finally landed with our merry group. After a nice night's sleep in narrow plane seats, we are at a big Namibian airport in the country's capital, Windhoek. Now, getting our stuff, we're heading towards a car which will take us to the farm. So our African hunting adventure officially begins. It seems that the team is well prepared. In these big bags they are carrying whole wardrobes of clothes, shoes, cosmetics and other personal accessories. There's no need to worry about the rest. In the parking lot in front of the airport there's a van waiting for us, which is fortunately the last stage of our journey to Snake River, our base for the next few days. We left the airport early in the morning. We're passing beautiful scenery outside the window. These are quite good roads, as we thought we would see some gravel paths or some off-road lanes. Yet we're told they are still ahead of us. It is very interesting here. There's no forest, there's only the bush. I really like it and look forward to climbing these hills and hunting in such a place. The whole team can't wait for the first oryx hunt in the bush. But first we need to get through the urban jungle. It is still early in the morning, so our road to Okahanja is empty, as if we passed some deserted town. A really strange feeling. Namibia, with its huge area, has slightly more than 2 million inhabitants and is the second least densely populated country. Statistically, there are 2 Namibians per a square kilometer. For example, in Luxembourg, an average square kilometer is shared by more than 200 people. What a lack of space. After an hour-long drive, happy and without problems, we complete the first part of the journey. And even though it continues, the asphalt decides to stop.
Witam, Dashbur. Witam.
Welcome, Dashbur. Welcome to Snake River Lodge in Namibia. I think we will have a good time. The weather's nice. I think we're up to a fantastic adventure.
Tutaj. Także Matthias, bardzo dziękuję Ci.
Matti, thank you for the invitation. I hope that the time spent on the Blazer farm is going to be very inspiring. We'll see a lot of cool things and we learn a little bit of Africa. I think we can shoot something. And you will see it all, of course, in the Euro Hunters program. And now we're rushing to the farm.
Dashbur. No i cóż, grzejemy na farmę.
Tak,
Jeszcze raz.
dajemy. Dziękuję bardzo.
Let's not exaggerate with that rushing. Gravel road is admittedly better than not one European asphalt road, but there's a lot of razor-sharp rocks on the side of the road. We don't want to change the tire at the end of the journey, so no one's protesting. A water reservoir means that we've reached civilization. After a day of traveling, we've finally arrived. At this point, no one even dreams about hunting, but about a comfortable bed where they could sleep off the rigors of travel. First, however, a modest welcoming ceremony awaits us.
Dotarliśmy właśnie do lodży, do miejsca.
We are at the farm. We'll be staying here for the next few days. We were welcomed in a typical African style. Each man received a damp towel to wipe the dust off the hands and faces. In a moment, we enter our African rooms.
Dotrzeć do miejsca, gdzie będziemy zakwaterowani, tam, gdzie będziemy mieszkać. Hello, Przemo. Hello, my name is Przemo.
After a quick presentation and exchange of smiles, it's time to raise a toast to the host and we can slowly go to bed. We really have a very little time to recover.
Wszyscy odpoczęli po przyjeździe.
We all have rested after the journey. We've had dinner. Now we're going to the shooting range when we will shoot weapons, check our skills and acquaint ourselves with calibers which we'll be using here.
Kalibrami, których będziemy używać w polowaniach przez najbliższy tydzień.
Can you drive slowly? Slowly.
The hat wasn't blown off in the wind, but maybe Mr. Reporter was worried about his cap. In the end, he hasn't had an opportunity to ride a convertible for a while. The road to the shooting range was our first closer contact with the Namibian bush, and we immediately fell in love with the climate and landscape.
Dotarliśmy na miejsce.
We are at the shooting range, where we're going to shoot our weapons. We have with us Matthias, the head of the whole expedition, who made sure that we have weapons to shoot with. Matti, what weapons do we hunt with?
Dzisiaj będziemy używali...
We'll be using Blazer R8 Professional version PH, which stands for Professional Hunter. The calibers we offer are 300 Winchester Magnum, 338 Blaser Magnum and 338 Lapua Magnum. So, typical African calibers. Everyone will have the opportunity to test their skills. We shoot from 100 meters and longer distances. In a moment, we'll talk about the ammunition we'll be using, as it's also special.
Today I will explain you a little bit about the new RWS HIT. It's a mass stable deformation bullet and also really kind of novelty in 338 Lapua Magnum is speed tip. Very hard expression and really powerful knockdown power. We will see it later and I will explain you a little bit more in the next time.
Why this ammunition is good for hunting in Africa?
Because this is very fast, this is very accurate, and it's had a really good knockdown power. So also on 300 or 400 meter, you can be really confident, very trustful. So take the rifle, shoot, and you will really satisfied.
Which caliber you use? You think is better?
I use personally 30-06, but 338 about 300-400 meters are very well, and also the 300 Winmark you can choose in every kind of meter, so there is no problem to use it.
Świetnie to wygląda. It's great.
It's amazing, and the first thing what is really clear with the hit, we have 99% a safe tryout. Also, if you have a bone hit, if you have a bad hit, you will have 99% a safe tryout. With a speed tip, you have in the first second a really mass explosion, but you will not have a tryout.
Here was what kind of caliber?
300 Winmark.
And here?
338 Lapua Magnum.
And the difference between this when we show something?
We will see it when we now split it. We will split it in a 7.5 and 50 centimeters. And then we will measure with water and we will really see the difference. That speed tip opens immediately and hit will come later. So the vital organs in the bigger game is more on the hit side. So for the driven hunt in German, especially in Poland, I can recommend the speed tip very well. And if you are here in Namibia or you hunt on bigger games, on big deers, their hit is a really good choice.
Now it's time for a little experiment. To do it, Andy needs to measure precisely and then cut pieces of ballistic soap. Let's give him a minute to prepare. One soap's ready, but before we slice the other piece, let's look at the hole the first bullet's made.
And the amazing one is, if you see here, but better is if you look inside. You can all look inside. This is like a screwdriver, like this one. This is super clear. You have no metal, no fragments inside, maybe one small plastic tip, but it doesn't matter. So we put out of the soap block. This is also mass stable, but with fragments. And it stays in the game. So if you have a bigger game, you will have at the first 7.5 meter an explosion, but not on the end.
When everyone had finished admiring the damage the hit bullet has made, we proceeded to slicing the cube hit with a speed tip bullet. Przemek bravely assisted Andy in this experiment and was very curious about the result. Just a few strokes of the piano string and you can slowly summarize the experiment.
The difference we see really clear is on the end. By hit, is it here, the safe tryout. And if you have a bone hit, the bullet goes through. Also, if maybe you have a bad hit, the bullet goes through. You will find a blood trail and you will find the game. Here, there was no safe tryout, no exit wound. So this is a little bit less, but here, amazing. So that's really the difference. It means speed tip, it had a really fast expansion, really fast opening, really knockdown power, but not exit wound. And hit is a mass stable bullet through the whole game. And here is the power. Inside, where the vital organs are, there's really the mass power.
Not only on the beginning, but just all the time.
The power is here. You see it really clear. The power is here in the middle, where really the vital organs are. There is the killing power. So for a deer, bear, bigger game, wild beast like this, that's really powerful.
So we know exactly what with and why we hunt in Africa. It's important to know well the ammunition we use. Training at the shooting range is essential too. It's good to take advantage of such an opportunity. But as you can see, some people would prefer to enjoy the African sun.
Matthias,
Matthias, when we're going hunting in Africa, we always start at the shooting range. Why?
żeby sprawdzić broń.
To check weapons, ammunition and the optics. And to check the ones who will be using it.
To znaczy tego, który poluje.
So the shooter also needs to be checked.
To przyjeżdża. Tak,
Yes.
trzeba to sprawdzić.
Today we also had RWS Bullets ballistic presentation. It also gave a lot to think about as we'll be using these bullets. The first day is very nice. On our way here we saw a lot of animals. Is it a good sign for tomorrow?
Na jutro?
Tak.
Sure, it will be even better.
No dobra,
Fine, you'd better be right. The first day of the expedition is reserved to familiarize ourselves with weapons, terrain and animals, which we'll meet in the next few days. Tomorrow at dawn we begin our first hunt on African soil. We don't know what will surprise us, but after a frosty welcome at the airport, nothing can surprise us really. But maybe we're wrong. For now we're enjoying the crisp dry air, which even on hot days makes the temperature not bother us as much as in Poland.
We're in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we don't have the closest civilization 55 kilometers away.
Great.
And neighbors are also within 10, 20 kilometers away. So we're really in the middle of nowhere, perfect hunting area.
Yeah. We hunt here by walking, by foot, or we drive by car.
All our hunting is done on foot.
Yes.
But we do, because it's such a big area, we will use a vehicle to get to certain areas where we know there should be good game. And from there we start walking, but we do not hunt from the vehicles whatsoever.
We hunt whole day, or we start at the morning and...
We will start early in the morning. There will be a nice knock at the door when it's still dark. We have breakfast, we then get up, the PHs and everybody have breakfast together. We'll go out, have a good day of hunting, about 5 hours. We'll come back at about 11:30. We have a nice lunch, couple hours relax, and are back out at about 3 o'clock until the sun goes down, where we get together and talk about the day's events and have dinner, etc.
What kind of animal we can find here?
We've got a large variety of plains game, so from the small little steenbok, impala, waterbuck, to the great kudu. We have giraffe, we have other bigger animals as well, waterbuck, red hartebeest, etc.
We saw rhino today.
Yes, we've got some rhinos as well, that's right.
Yeah, and some leopard or...
We have got a lot of leopard, we've got cheetah, brown hyena. You have all the other night animals, badger, some of the predators like caracal. There's a lot of jackal, so there's a lot of things to see, a lot of things to experience and to hunt.
The name of this mountain is...
This is we call Sunset Hill.
Sunset Hill.
The reason is we come up here with our guests, we have drinks, we have awesome snacks, and of course we have the beautiful sunset to look at.
A beautiful mountain and views. The sun has just set. We are in a wonderful location. We've had a toast to a successful hunt, so there's nothing like a trip to Africa. The views by the setting sun will remain in our memory for long. Now it's time for final arrangements before the first hunt. We just need to split in twos and wave goodnight.
specjalnie dla was wdrapaliśmy.
We've climbed this rock especially for you to show the distance to our lodge. This is a fantastic place. There's a water hole in front of it where every now and then some animals quench their thirst. The view from here is just breathtaking. We're set to often climb such rocks, so we've already got the first experience behind. And that's all for today. We'll see you in a week for more adventures in sunny Namibia.